Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. See ya. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday, pay it forward Friday. We're seizing the day. Digital finance, unlearning a love, serving food for what those two, rising after beat and it Eastern on P2GTV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come meet with me.
Grand Rising, everybody. Welcome to Work It Out. Welcome to Breakfast with the Thomases. Child, I don't know where I'm at. All right.
Lord.
Okay.
Grand Rising, y'all. This is Alvin Thomas, the Gold Banker, coming to you live 1 gram at a time. And happy Monday to y'all on a Mental Wellness Monday. Oh, man, it's an interesting day today. Real talk today. Sunday, there was a conversation about what's happening in the paper market and how it's going to affect things. One of the things that I was made aware of was the fact that we're in line for another government shutdown at the end of the week, and I didn't even realize that there was another shutdown that's coming again. And the question for you and everybody else out there is, how is that going to affect us? You know, the last time they had a shutdown, things were less than favorable, and a few people made jokes of it about, oh, well, the only thing they're going to do is shut down a couple federal parks, and then they'll be back over on the following Monday. That didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. So why would you make that assumption that that's how it's going to go again this time around? Ladies and gentlemen, we got the people on Clapper. We got the people on Stereo. Shout out to you guys for being there. We got on a multiple streamers. Today's going to be a real good conversation. We got an awesome video. This video is a guy called AG. And I want you guys to listen up, take notes, and be prepared to be in a conversation that's going to really open your eyes about what's happening in the silver market, the paper markets, and how that's going to affect your bottom line by the end of the week. And, by the end of the week, let's keep it simple. Ms. Rue?
What?
The floor is all yours. You can let it rip.
Okay, hold on.
This is about blinding the pilot of the airplane in the middle of a hurricane. We are facing a data blackout. You have to understand how the modern financial system actually works. It is not run by humans sitting in a room making gut decisions. It is run by algorithms. It is run by massive supercomputers at BlackRock, at Vanguard, and at the Federal Reserve. These machines consume data like oxygen. They need the Consumer Price Index, CPI TOIX, to measure inflation. They need the non-farm payrolls to measure employment. They need the PCE deflator to measure consumer spending. These numbers are the radar that the pilots use to fly the global economy. Every interest rate decision, every bond yield, every stock trade is calculated based on the expectation of this data. But here's the nightmare scenario. If the government shuts down on Friday night at midnight, the lights go out at the data agencies. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLSI, the people who tell us if inflation is killing us, closes its doors. The Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA, the people who tell us if we are in a recession, sends its workers home. The website goes dark. The reports are canceled. There will be no inflation report next week. There will be no jobs numbers. The radar screen goes completely black. Now imagine you are Jerome Powell. Imagine you are the chairman of the Federal Reserve. You are already losing control of the bond market. Yields are spiking. The banks are wobbling. And suddenly you're told that you have to fly the plane for the next 3 weeks with 0 instruments. You don't know if inflation is rising or falling. You don't know if unemployment is spiking. You're flying blind in the fog. What do? Do you sit tight and do nothing? That is dangerous. Do you raise interest rates and risk crashing the economy when you can't see the dashboard? That is suicide. No. When a central bank flies blind, they default to their most primal bureaucratic instinct, panic. And the only tool they have to soothe their panic, the only button on the dashboard that works when the radar is dead, is the printer. The market knows this. The hedge funds know this. The sovereign wealth funds in Dubai and Singapore know this. They know that a data blackout forces the Fed into a defensive posture. It forces them to flood the system with liquidity just in case. They cannot risk a deflationary liquidity freeze when they don't have the data to track it. So they will print, they will inject reserves, they will launch a safety print to keep the gears oiled while the government is closed. They will choose inflation over instability every single time. This is why you are seeing gold hitting a new all-time high tonight. This is why you are seeing silver smashing through $100 and refusing to look back. The market is not waiting for the shutdown to actually happen. The market is front-running the inevitable response. The smart money is buying the anti-dollar now because they know that by next week, the dollar is going to be diluted by a panicked Federal Reserve trying to navigate a political crisis. They are buying the insurance before the house catches fire. They are dumping the currency that depends on politicians and buying the money that depends on physics. And the timing could not be worse. We are not entering this shutdown in a period of calm. We are entering it in a period of extreme fragility. The repo market, the plumbing of the financial system, is already showing signs of stress. The reverse repo facility is empty. The cash cushion is gone. A shutdown now is like kicking the crutches out from under a man with a broken leg. It guarantees a fall. And to make matters worse, this political deadlock is not just about budgets and deficits. It has become personal. It has become violent. While Washington argues about numbers, something terrible has happened in the streets of the Midwest. Something that has turned this financial dispute into a social war. We need to talk about the spark. We need to talk about the reason why the Democrats in the Senate are vowing to burn the funding bill to the ground rather than compromise. This is where the story stops being about numbers on a spreadsheet and starts being about fire in the streets. We have talked about the data blackout. We have talked about the Federal Reserve flying blind. But you cannot understand why this government shutdown is inevitable. You cannot understand why the politicians are refusing to sign the deal until you look at what is happening on the ground in the American Midwest. While the algorithms are watching the bond yields, the rest of the country is watching a tragedy unfold in real time. We need to talk about Minneapolis. For the last 48 hours, reports have been flooding into our news desk regarding a massive escalation of force involving federal agents. We are not talking about local police. We are talking about federal assets, ICE, Border Patrol, and federal marshals, being deployed to domestic operations. And late last night, the situation went from tense to catastrophic. We have confirmed reports of a second shooting involving these federal agents in less than 3 days. But this time, the narrative is different. This time, the victim was not a suspect. The victim was not armed. The victim has been identified as a 34-year-old ICU nurse, a woman who spent the last few years saving lives in a local hospital, a woman who was simply walking home from a 12-hour shift when she crossed paths with a federal patrol. The details are still coming in, but the reaction is already explosive. Videos of the incident are circulating on social media, uncensored and viral. The public outrage is not just anger, it is a visceral, collective scream. People are seeing a healthcare hero, someone who represents the very best of the community, gunned down by the very government that is claiming to protect them. This has triggered a wave of protests that is spreading faster than the news itself. Minneapolis is burning. The streets are filled with thousands of people. The National Guard is being mobilized. We are seeing the early stages of a social supernova. And this is the spark that destroys the budget deal. You have to understand the political calculus in Washington. Yesterday, there was a slim chance that the Democrats and Republicans might cut a deal to keep the government open for another month. Today, that chance is zero. The Senate Democrats have already come out and drawn a line in the sand. They are vowing to block any funding bill that includes money for these federal deployments. They are saying, we will not sign a check that pays for the bullets used to shoot nurses. The political cost of compromise has become too high. If a Democrat votes for this bill now, their career is over. If a Republican votes to defund the agents, their base will revolt. It is a deadlock. It is a stalemate written in blood. So the shutdown is no longer a risk. It is a certainty. The government will close on Friday because the two sides are no longer arguing about money. They are arguing about morality. They are arguing about justice. And when politics becomes emotional, logic leaves the room. This guarantees the data blackout. It guarantees the Federal Reserve will be left alone in the dark. But look at what this does to the psychology of the market. Markets hate uncertainty, but they fear chaos. When you combine a financial collapse, the liquidity freeze, with social unrest, Minneapolis, you get the perfect storm for precious metals. Investors look at the screen and see the banks failing. They look out the window and see the cities burning. Where do they put their money? Do they buy stocks in companies whose stores are being looted? No. Do they buy bonds from a government that is shooting its own citizens? No. They buy the only thing that is neutral. They buy the only thing that is private. They buy gold. They buy silver. This is why the premiums on physical metal are exploding right now. People are not buying silver to make a profit. They're buying it to buy safety. They're buying it because they realize that the system is breaking down on every level, financial, political, and social. The trust is gone. And when trust vanishes, money velocity spikes. People run away from the currency and into the asset. This brings us to the most alarming signal on the technical charts. We're seeing a collapse in the time to travel. The price of silver is not just going up, it is speeding up. It is moving faster than it has ever moved before. We need to analyze the velocity signal. We need to show you the math that suggests $110 is just days away. If the social chaos in Minneapolis is the fire, then the price action we are seeing on the charts is the explosion. I need you to stop looking at the price level and start looking at the speed. Because in financial markets, velocity is everything. Velocity tells you the strength of the move. Velocity tells you if it is a trade or a panic. And right now, the velocity of silver is telling us that the dam has completely burst. We are tracking a metric called time to travel. This measures how many days it takes for silver to move $10 in price, and the data is absolutely terrifying for the short sellers. The time intervals are collapsing. The train is accelerating. Let's look at the history of this rally. When silver moved from $20 to $30, it was a slog. It was a war. It took 145 days. The banks fought every inch. The algorithms shorted every rally. It was a grind. Then when we moved from $40 to $50, things started to speed up. That move took 39 days. The resistance was weakening. The shorts were getting tired. But look at what just happened. Look at the move from $70 to $80. It took 6 days. And the move from $90 to $100, which should have been the hardest psychological barrier in history, it took just 10 days. Do you see the pattern? 145 days, 39 days, 6 days, 10 days. This is an exponential decay in resistance. It means the sellers are gone. It means the algorithmic suppression, the computer programs designed to cap the price, has broken. The machine that usually says sell at resistance levels has been overrun by a tsunami of physical buying. We are now in the vertical phase. This is the part of the chart where physics takes over. It is like a rocket leaving the atmosphere. The higher it goes, the less resistance there is, and the faster it climbs. Based on this velocity, based on the pure momentum of the last 2 weeks, my analysis is screaming a warning. We are not stopping at $100. If the government shutdown hits on Friday and the data blackout panic sets in, we are going to slice through the next levels like a hot knife through butter. The resistance between 100 and 110 is non-existent. Why? Because nobody has ever sold there before. There is no memory of price at these levels. It is blue sky. I'm predicting that we could see $110 by next weekend. That is a $10 move in 5 days. It is entirely consistent with the velocity trend we are seeing. And here's the kicker. Usually, when an asset goes vertical, you expect a pullback. You expect a correction. But silver is unique. Silver is a Giffen good in a crisis. A Giffen good is a strange economic phenomenon where demand actually increases as the price goes up. Why? Because people see the price rising and they think, oh my God, the currency is dying. The higher the price goes, the more panic it creates and the more people buy. It is a feedback loop. At $100, people are more desperate to buy silver than they were at $20. At $20, it was an investment. At $100, it is survival. The psychology has shifted from greed to fear, and fear is a much, much stronger motivator. So do not look at the chart and think it is overbought. Overbought is a term for normal markets. In a currency collapse, nothing is ever overbought until the currency is dead. We are watching the death of the resistance. But while the price of silver is exploding, there's a dark cloud forming under the surface of the banking system. There is a technical signal, a warning light on the dashboard of the plumbing that suggests the stock market is about to have a heart attack. While silver flies, liquidity is freezing. We need to talk about the liquidity death spread. We need to explain the spread between SOFR and I. ORB tells us and why it is about to crash your 401k. This is the part of the broadcast where the casual viewers tune out and the serious investors make their fortunes. I need you to put down the price chart for a moment and come with me into the engine room of the financial system. Because while everyone is staring at the shiny paint on the car, the stock prices, and the silver candles, the oil pressure in the engine is dropping to zero. We are witnessing a technical signal that has predicted every major market crash of the last decade. It is a signal that is flashing red for the first time since March 2020. We call it the liquidity death spread. You need to understand two acronyms that run the world. The first is SOFR, the Secured Overnight Financing Rate. This is the cost of real money. It is what banks and hedge funds charge each other to borrow cash overnight, using US Treasuries as collateral. It is the heartbeat of the private market. The second is IORB, the interest on reserve balances. This is the fake money rate. It is the bribe that the Federal Reserve pays the commercial banks to keep their cash sitting idle at the Fed. In a healthy, functioning world, these two numbers hold hands. They move together. If the Fed pays 5%, the private market charges 5%. The spread should be zero, but right now, the spread is blowing out. We are seeing SOFR, the private rate, spike significantly higher than the IORB. Do you understand what that means? It means that private banks are saying, I don't care what the Fed says. I don't care about the official rate. I'm terrified to lend you money. It means that cash is becoming scarce in the real economy, even while the Fed claims there is plenty of it. The banks are hoarding liquidity. They are refusing to lend to the repo market. They are looking at the looming government shutdown. They are looking at the chaos in Minneapolis, and they are saying, the collateral is bad. Well, this is the nightmare scenario. The entire stock market, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the AI bubble is built on leverage. It is built on cheap overnight borrowing. When SOFR spikes, that leverage becomes expensive. When the spread widens, it is like sucking the oxygen out of the room. The hedge funds get a tap on the shoulder. It is the margin clerk. He says, the cost of borrowing just doubled. You need to sell your stocks to raise cash. This is what causes a liquidity event. Stocks don't crash because companies are bad. They crash because the traders run out of cash to hold their positions. We saw this in 2008. We saw it in 2020. And we are seeing the exact same setup right now, just 6 days before the government turns off the lights. But here's where it gets interesting for you, the stacker. In a liquidity freeze, almost every asset gets sold. Stocks get sold, bonds get sold, Bitcoin gets sold. Everything that has counterparty risk, everything that depends on another human being fulfilling a promise, gets dumped for cash. But there is one asset class that acts as the final collateral. There's one asset that has zero counterparty risk, physical gold and silver. When the banks stop trusting each other, when JP Morgan won't lend to Citibank because they don't trust the Treasury collateral, they will still accept gold. They will still accept silver because metal doesn't need a credit rating. Metal doesn't need a government to stay open. Metal just is. This is why we are seeing this divergence. Usually in a crash, everything goes down together at first. But this time, silver is rising while the liquidity dries up. This tells us that the market has already identified the winner. The market knows that when the data blackout hits and the liquidity freeze strikes on Friday, the only safe place to hide is outside the banking system. The liquidity death spread is not a warning for silver. It is rocket fuel for silver. It is the signal that the paper system is seizing up and the physical system is taking over. So watch this spread tomorrow morning and watch the repo rates. If you see SOFR tick up by 5 or 10 basis points while the Fed does nothing, you know the freeze has begun. You know the heart attack is happening. And this brings us to tomorrow. Monday morning is going to be a bloodbath for the unprepared and a bonanza for the strategic. We have the Trump tweet. We have the Minneapolis riots. We have the liquidity warning. The algorithm is going to react violently at the open. I have run the simulations, and I have a very specific set of predictions for what you're going to see when the bell rings on Monday, January 26th. This brings us to the most immediate and actionable part of this broadcast. We have looked at the macro picture. We have looked at the plumbing. But you need to know what is going to happen when you wake up tomorrow morning. You need to know how to navigate the first trading session of the most dangerous week in financial history. Based on the convergence of the Trump tweet, the Minneapolis riots, and the liquidity freeze, the algorithms are primed for violence. Here's my forecast for Monday, January 26th. First, look to the east. Before New York even pours its first cup of coffee, the Asian markets are going to set the tone. And I'm predicting a massive gap up in the price of silver at the Asian Open. You have to understand that the markets have been closed for 48 hours while the world has been burning. Orders have been piling up in the system all weekend. Hedge funds in Singapore, family offices in Hong Kong, and traders in Sydney have been reading the headlines. They see the shutdown, they see the shooting, and they are panic buying at the market open price. This creates a gap. The price will likely not open at $100. It will likely open at $102 or $103. It will jump. If you're waiting to buy at Friday's close, you're going to be disappointed. That price is gone. The train has left the station. Second, watch the VIX, the volatility index. The fear gauge of Wall Street has been suspiciously quiet lately. It has been manipulated and suppressed. But tomorrow, the 6-day countdown to the shutdown officially begins. The reality of the data blackout is going to hit the risk managers on Wall Street like a cold bucket of water. I expect the VIX to explode higher. When the VIX spikes, algorithms automatically sell stocks. It is a mechanical reaction. So expect the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ to open deep in the red. This is the risk-off trade kicking in. Money is fleeing the uncertainty of the stock market and running to the certainty of the metal market. But here's the most important warning I can give you for tomorrow. Be careful of the head fake. Be careful of the trap. Often, on a Monday morning with this much bad news, the manipulators, the banksters we talk about, will try one last desperate attempt to smash the price. They might dump $1 billion of paper silver at 8:30 a.m. to try and trigger stop losses. You might see the price dip from 103 back down to 100. Do not fall for it. Do not sell. Every single dip in the last 2 weeks has been bought up aggressively within hours. The velocity data we discussed in part 3 proves that the buyers are hungry. They are waiting for a discount. If you see a red candle tomorrow morning, it is not a crash. It is a gift. It is the last chance to get on the rocket before it clears the tower. The underlying fundamentals, the shutdown, the riots, the broken plumbing, are too strong for any manipulation to hold for long. So, the game plan for Monday is simple. Expect volatility. Expect the screens to flash red and green, but keep your eyes on the prize. The liquidity death spread is widening. The data blackout is coming, the system is failing, and the exit doors are closing. This leads us to the final verdict. This leads us to the only conclusion that makes sense in a world gone mad. We need to wrap this up and give you your marching orders for the week. So here's the verdict. We have laid out the intelligence. We have shown you the blackout threat of the government shutting down in 6 days. We have shown you the spark of social chaos burning in the streets of Minneapolis. And we have shown you the liquidity death spread that is silently screaming from the engine room of the banking system. The evidence is overwhelming. We are not looking at a random collection of bad news. We are looking at a convergence. We are looking at 3 massive hurricanes, political, social, and financial, crashing into each other at the exact same moment. And standing right in the eye of that storm, perfectly positioned to absorb the flight of capital, is silver. This brings me to the most important piece of advice I can give you for the week ahead. You are going to see things this week that will test your resolve. You are going to see volatility that makes the last year look like a nap. There will be moments, perhaps tomorrow morning, perhaps on Wednesday, where the price of silver might drop $5 in 5 minutes. You might see a red candle that looks like a waterfall. And the voice in your head, the voice of fear that the system has planted there, is going to scream, sell, take the profit, get out before it crashes. Do not listen to that voice. That dip is a lie. That dip is a bear trap designed to steal your position exactly 1 second before the real move begins. You have to remember the velocity data we discussed. The market moved from $90 to $100 in just 10 days. That kind of momentum does not turn around on a dime. That is the momentum of a freight train. The buyers are aggressive. The sovereign wealth funds are hungry. If the price drops, it is only because a desperate bank is trying to cover its short position before the lights go out on Friday. They are trying to shake you out so they can take your seat on the lifeboat. Do not give it to them. You have to understand the game theory of the next 6 days. As we get closer to Friday, the panic is going to compound. On Monday, the market will worry. On Wednesday, the market will panic. By Friday afternoon, if there is no deal, and with Minneapolis burning, there will be no deal, the market will go into full liquidation mode. Stocks will be sold. Bonds will be sold. And that money has to go somewhere. It cannot go to cash because the Fed is about to print trillions into the blind void of the data blackout. It has to go to hard assets. It has to go to the only thing that doesn't need a government bureau to have value. We are looking at a target of $110 by next weekend. But even that is just a mile marker. In a true liquidity freeze, where the counterparty trust evaporates, silver doesn't just go to 110, it goes to no offer. It goes to a place where you cannot buy it for any amount of paper money. We are getting dangerously close to that point. So prepare yourself. Check your positions. Check your physical stack. Turn off the noise of the mainstream media because they will lie to you until the very end. They will tell you the shutdown is transitory. They will tell you the riots are contained. They are lying. The system is breaking. The spread is widening. The velocity is vertical. The only safe play is to stand your ground. Let the traders trade. Let the gamblers gamble. You are not a trader. You are an owner. And this week, the owners win. This is John A.G. The countdown is at 6 days. The blackout is coming. Hold hard.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. That was a powerful statement. That was a lot of powerful information that he let loose today.
Yes, it did.
Grand rising to you all.
Now we got to break that down. We got to break it down because you got a lot of folks thinking in there. Got folks popping in and popping out thinking that this doesn't apply to them. That somehow you're not involved with this. This is markets. Well, my question is who are you? You are the market they're talking about. When we're talking about war, political unrest, financial distress, that's your money.
Yes, it is.
It's your money. It's the stuff you go to work for. I keep reminding everybody, you don't have no reserves outside of the deliberately failing financial system, because wealthy people don't have stacks of cash. Smart money ain't piled up with green. They don't keep money in a pillowcase or in a mattress. That's not how that goes down. I don't think you get it. I think that poor people are okay and comfortable with thinking that that's for somebody else. I think that you haven't figured out it's your position that keeps you getting shot in the street by guys that who are wearing masks. That's not happening in Beverly Hills. No, that's not. That's not happening. Look, I'm gonna be very straight. ICE ain't rolling up in a no wealthy person's house taking their employees out of the door. Y'all get that, right? Y'all get that yet?
The neighborhoods that they're entering
in those wealthy houses for almost no money are getting pulled out of those wealthy homes. That's not happening in Ridge Hill. That's not happening in the wealthy spaces. You're not seeing women getting shot off the street coming from work by men with no identification, masks, guns in the street, and all they got is sign on the back to stay ICE. That's not happening everywhere. It's only happening to the ones that think that this market don't matter to them. If you think the market is not about you, you got the bullseye on your back. It's your neighborhood.
This is policy.
Now, this
is real policy
and
policing.
Ones that know better. Go ahead, baby.
One of you guys got to be in a space for. There's a lot. I watched this the other day, and I've watched it twice. And one of the things that stand out to me the most, and that has happened in every country that's ever had a breakdown in the financial market, was the social unrest. I ain't called the social unrest. Whenever there's social unrest, banks are not trying to give up capital. They're trying to hold on to what they have and solidify it. And we've been talking about solidifying your ownership of gold and silver for years.
Look,
for years. And the banks have really, they've put nail in the coffin for people to realize that, look.
Why we talk, I don't understand where banks got into all of this conversation where we're talking about people handling a business.
I got you. Hear me out. Hear me out, Ruby. Just wait.
Go ahead, Al. You seem like
you're
going on that same road. You're going around to get straight through that. Doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to shake the tree out so people hear it.
You're going around too far. They ain't going to hang out for this story. Go for it.
Look, banks have said they're buying gold and silver. They've been reporting it on the news forever. It's been open space. 2, we've been sharing with you that gold and silver is the only real money that is available to you to have an insurance policy when when things hit the fan. Excuse me, I gotta make sure.
Watch the language.
Yeah, when things hit the fan. They just said there's a liquidity crisis in the market. Whenever there's a liquidity crisis in the market, all those people who have 401ks, 529, all those fancy paper things that they give you when you sign up for your job are the ones that they use to fill the gaps. If they use your money to fill the gaps, what is available to you when you need this money? What is available? The paper in your pocket that folds and crinkles and makes noise will do you no good.
So Keep
So
in mind,
what's the option? What's the next thing in play?
that's another thing. The bail-ins are going to begin as the system starts to crash. The money in the bank, and this is what Alvin's talking about. He's trying to get you to a whole point of knowledge or of enlightenment that you haven't even begun the conversation for. This is why I talk to my husband the way I talk to him. Because people are simple. We need to be on the page. Bottom line, banks go down, they get to hold your cash and fix their problems with your money. That's happening.
Absolutely, they do
That's
that.
the problem. It's called a bail-in. Look the word up. I'm going to give you some homework. Because if you don't do your damn homework, all you're going to do is be a victim and go, oh, we didn't know. It doesn't matter what you didn't know. You too, boo-boo. You signed on. You opened the bank account. You trusted these people. Now, let's not even talk about the bank account. Because when you can't get to your money and people go, oh, she talk about crypto. Boo. It's outside the system. Somebody got value for what I got. What you got that's holding value, should your dollar you can't access it, and then it don't have value. What are you going to do to keep the food in your house? What are you going to do to keep the roof over your head? Because do you think your landlord is going to take oh, this is not COVID, boo-boo. This ain't COVID. They're not going to go, oh, you can live here with no money, with no value coming to them. That's not how it works. They got to pay the bank too. They still got bills too. It's a system. And we've got to start realizing this is not about shaking y'all and making it. No, boo, it's here. I don't have to say nothing for this to be your reality. Some of y'all are getting notices already. Some of y'all didn't read your mail lately coming from your bank institutions. Hell, some of y'all are clicking buttons to say yes for updates to programs you not clicking. Guess what? YouTube just did one. Opened it up. There was an update. New policy. That's what it's called, y'all. The shit is called new policy. Now, what games are you playing outside the system to secure I got what I got and I can stay where I stay and I'm in a safe space? Y'all get that? I can't stop ICE from walking down the streets, but guess what? As the streets change up, value, when the streets change value, we've been telling this y'all for years. When your streets change value because the mines and the money flow change locations, so does the police.
Yes, they do.
So is the directive for the police. Stop trying to raise your hand and be in the street together. You're going to have to start locking arms, getting some new information and solidifying something, because while y'all out in the street protesting, they are scooping your finances right out your bank.
Right from under. They just had a protest in New York. Tens of thousands of people were rolling down Fifth Avenue in New York.
And they still change policies.
ICE is still here in New York. The police are yelling at ICE in front of major venues. They're talking about, we're going in there to get people in. And they're like, no, they're not. Hear me out.
That's a jurisdiction fight.
Yeah, that's a jurisdiction fight. You have nothing to do with that. None.
One of the things is ICE rolls through town and the police catch hell when they leave. Y'all keep that in mind, okay? I want you to realize ICE rolls through these towns, and then when they leave, the police catch hell because they create the chaos that creates what needs to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, I woke up this morning, y'all, to I think it was, I don't even know what I was reading. I just know it was Erykah Badu being quoted in a statement. Y'all need to realize they need us to be crazy. They need us to be displaying crazy, to keep doing that. I'm not saying don't stand up. What I'm saying is it's time to start being, this is the kind of stuff they did back in the 60s. I told you this, the game don't play. The government don't change the game. They use the same playbook on a different generation. It takes us to start speaking to each other how not to get played the same way. You got to take the game home and you got to play it, strengthen yourselves up, get solid on the real, and then you can step out in the street because you're a different person. You ain't even a person in that. And if they do something to you, they did something to new nations. They did something to new nations. Now repercussions are different. Y'all get that yet? See, the repercussions are still not different because y'all all sitting on the books. Until you get off the books, till you get in the ones that matter, they don't care. They shoot you in the street. And nobody cares. The news is like, this is a tragedy. It's a bad thing. And then piles of people go back out, line up in front of a bunch of folks, and here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has changed. Black Lives Matter, 100 men in blah, blah, and the this, that, and the march, and the that did nothing. Because back again, now we got faceless folks rolling down the street with guns. Big ones. They ain't some small guns. They ain't just armed. They got AKs holding them out in the street, babe. For you. And they don't care if you from here or not. This ain't about protecting us.
No, it isn't.
And I'm gonna share that with y'all. It ain't about protecting you when your face is on the other side of the scope. When your face is on the other side of the scope, it ain't about that. It's about policing in a whole different way. And y'all know that. What you gonna do is the question. What can you do? I teach digital financial literacy because the fact is while that chaos is a distraction, that chaos is a distraction for the people. I told y'all the elites got a 12-year plan while y'all still working on this month's rent. 12-year plan. Y'all still trying to keep the mortgage going. While we're teaching people how to spread the long game and how to actually get that value in that they can't touch. We're teaching people how to connect to sovereignty, how to connect to, getting yourselves off their books and out of their jurisdiction. Y'all still going, there they go talking that stuff again. I'm going to tell you, I let my conspiracy lead me to not getting a gun scope put on my face because I got something they got to respect or they lose it themselves. See, until you look like them, they don't give a damn about you. And I don't mean skin, baby. I want y'all to stop seeing color.
No.
This country don't run on color. That's the distraction. And that's where all y'all keep running to. That's what defends you.
There's a reason why this place is wants to maintain the Bretton Woods Act. There's a reason for that. And, I want y'all guys to go look up the Bretton Woods Act. That's where they said everything would run on the petrodollar. But this is more than that. This is capitalism. You are a product that resides on this piece of land here.
Can I drop something with y'all? Alvin, can I drop something for real though? What happens when the bully ain't got nowhere else to go?
He comes home.
Thank you. He terrorizes the ones that's closer. See, this is the problem. Y'all keep forgetting that's the whole thing. That's the problem. When we were out, you had some power, and the country had, they were out there, and everybody was fearing them, and now they all stepping up, going, no, we getting together. Y'all can't come here and start doing stuff in our land. Where are they now terrorizing? In the name of protection.
At your
I want you
doorstep.
to think about it. Where did the shift just come from, my brothers and sisters? Y'all better open your eyes. Don't look at this color of their skin and think I'm just talking to people that look like
it has nothing to do with the tone of your skin.
That lady that passed in the street, she was not my tone. That nurse, she is not my tone. That means that you too, boo-boo. You too. Now y'all want to be all up. We told you. We all told you this. The ones that will see, the bully don't just stay in one corner. When the folks that step up, when the original ones that were oppressed step up, they have to find a new group. And they take it home. Y'all know slavery all started in the colonies, right? Started way back when. Before it even got here, before it got to started all back in England. Started back there. Started back the empire that was this, that, and the other. Those folks where it started, but you don't know the real history.
The indentured servants.
Let me tell you, y'all don't know history because they're reducing your books. They're taking stuff off the web. They let it up. They gave you a little while to flood it in so to distract you with the information, but you can't. You have been so distracted that you don't know how to weed out. And now we done got to the point to where you are feeling the actual results of forced ignorance. You've been you've been being built into a place of forced ignorance so long, you don't know that you're not educated. You got folks going to these high-level colleges and they're being trained into ignorance on a generational level. Because outside of college, you didn't study the financial system because they didn't tell you to study the financial system. You got folks that are MBAs in finance and this, that, and the other that they don't have no use for gold and silver other than some paper. They themselves will not save themselves. But you know what the things about the people, I love it because, this one aunt that I got, I didn't know she used to work for the IRS. I didn't know that. Way back when, she used to work for the IRS. And her favorite statement is, I'm secure, I'm safe. I'm fine, I'm set. Her favorite statement, I'm set. And she is. Because she knows what to do. She knows like I tell you, don't get mad at the people who expose the horrible food and the horrible quality in these restaurants when they leave. Because they're telling you what's happening on the other side that you, the customer, are not privy to. That's why they're no longer customers of those restaurants. Most of them people don't eat at their place.
True.
I don't shop with people who don't eat or shop in the place that they work. You know why? Because it teaches me what they know on the inside.
Yep.
My daughter, I love it. She love her some Trader Joe's. My baby, she love her some Trader Joe's. That's because she worked there. When she worked there, she knew what the value is. So I'll eat Trader Joe's because her and the employees. I go to employees and I go to my Trader Joe's and try this, try that. I'll shop Trader Joe's. Because when the employees understand the value built in, it's not just mental. You got people working at Walmart that don't shop at Walmart. Y'all get that? You got to know. You
Why is that?
Know, like the folks that are on the other side every day. But you would rather go out there and be scared, misled, and believe you know something before you will learn something. This is our problem. This is where the fear comes in. This is why mental wellness is so important. We've got to start to put in some work on our psyche, our mentality, our spiritual connection, because that's what's allowing us to eat the garbage, to eat up stuff we don't eat, to eat up the stuff we don't even believe. Lies coming from, I'm not getting right. I don't tell you to listen to me. I ask you to get some information and go take it to the next. The news will not do that for you. The news will not do that. Oh, we're the news. Automatically, you must believe.
No.
Automatically, this is going on. You know how many times, Ruby, you know what's happening in the world? I ask you, which world? That's the answer to that question. Which world are you referring to? Because the world you live in is the one you cultivate. It's the one you sit and listen to all day. That gentleman that you heard on the AI right there, that one on the AI, that's just information for me. That's not my new God. Y'all get that? That's a form of information. We take it in, research to find out, because my interest is gold, silver, and crypto. I got to be safe. I need an alternative to what I've known, because I know how cash works. Y'all all know how cash works.
Yes, we do.
Is it disappearing in your pocket as fast as it get there, Sue? Oh, okay. So if it is, then we've got to ask our question, why isn't everybody living like us? What is happening on the other side? Now, I got to guess, we've been talking too much. I ain't gonna lie. I get into it.
But no, this is real conversation with real people's lives.
Well, we got some folks, so I want to just, bring them back. I want to bring it back in. Guys, we want to just give y'all love and say thank you. I'm acknowledging some folks who's in here that was in here. And just thank you so much for being on with us from Clapper, from Stereo, from YouTube, because we are on YouTube. We're on the Facebook live right now. And we want you guys to know this space is for you. This is the Breakfast with the Thomases table. If you got questions to ask, if you want to share information, this is the place to do it. Okay, this is the place to do it. We're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday just for you. And Wednesday, we have phenomenal guests coming in to support in the area of health, wellness, and wealth. the come up, the real come up, the steps you can take, the shortcuts to getting through. Because sometimes we have to take a shortcut around recircuit the circuits between our brain and our ear. Some people don't understand. There's like this long line for some odd reason, a long road between your ear and your brain. One thing your
Okay.
ear hear, your brain won't. It decides. It has this whole thing where it says I am or am not. And some of y'all are so stuck in belief that line gets very long. I stopped believing everything and started to learn. I stopped believing everything and I sought information. I even sought ways to get the proper information. That's just science, baby. All of us took it when we was in school. I keep telling everybody, a third grade education will take you everywhere. Everywhere.
And it's funny, science is different now than it's ever been. When we went to school and they had science.
Bubble.
Okay, got a bubble? But go ahead. I'll hit the science spot right after. Hit that bubble.
Sure. We're on multiple platforms. Welcome and thank you. Hello, my loves. What happened? Oh, I got to play that again. Somehow I don't think this is up loud. Nope, it wasn't. Let me say it again. Hi, Miss Sonia.
Good morning, family. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Thank you.
Anthony.
Thank you. Grand Rising, sis. And Brother Black Casper, we had some folks that was in the space today. I want to thank everybody for rolling through. Guys, I need y'all to understand we only on for an hour, but p2gnetworks.com is teaching every day of the week. We have coaching, classes, training. I teach pretty much everything. Our platform is available. Membership is affordable. The assets are real. I don't sell anything. I teach you how to acquire for yourself and get it quickly. Because right now, he's talking about the price of silver. You know, when we started this conversation around silver, go check out P2G Networks TV, 2017. Go ahead. 2017. You know how much gold and silver was in 2018? Mr. Thomas, you are muted. Go take a look at the charts. I tell people, I'm not here to convince you. I started stacking when silver was $14 a coin. An ounce. A coin look like a silver dollar. 1 ounce, $14. Now, every one of those $14 that went to $28, that went to $36, that went to, and only in this year, shifted from $60 to 100 let's put it 103 in the regular paper market, the regular market.
Correct.
111 in the crypto markets. That's physical. That's I own it. Nobody could take it. I'm sorry, I own it. I have access to it. You know where I'm coming from? I have access to it. No one holds it for me. Y'all get it? Because see, I knew what to do with it. I decided I was going to learn what the wealthy learned. Systems of not only getting, building, stacking, but protecting assets. How many of y'all got that system rolling right now in your life for simple stuff and on your bills alone? Just how to secure your bills other than the work you put in or the paperwork you do to get the money out of the businesses that so-called owe you. Yeah, I know all my people who are on retirements, y'all do realize you still doing work to get your money, right? You still got to file paperwork to qualify to get a payment. How is that your money then? What happens if the company that's holding your finances defaults? Do you know what the law around that is? That's what a bail-in. You need to start doing your homework.
That's
the word
a real
bail-in
question.
is big right now. Go look it up because it is applying to your finances. It's applying to all the financial houses, not banks. That's why I asked Mr. Thomas, what are you talking about a bank? Ain't nobody got their whole life savings in a bank. And if you do, you are 4 steps behind everybody else. You think you could have $100 million. If you have $100 million sitting in the bank, you a fool.
Because that doesn't even belong to you anymore.
See, wealthy people don't have $100 million worth of cash. They have $100 million worth of assets. And you better be sure a bank ain't holding them. It's a system, my loves. They have debt. They live on debt. Because debt, does debt take on taxes, Alvin?
Debt?
Does debt take on taxes?
Not at all. Not in the least.
They don't. So why would you live on income if income takes on something that debt doesn't? Guys, we learned in P2G networks in our digital financial literacy class. The first thing I teach is a system. We teach the system. I don't care what the word Elon Musk does for you. If it turns you off, just act like I said something else. Act like I said boo boo the fool.
No.
What you need to hear is the system, not what turns your ear off. You get turned off to the message. That's why I tell everybody, stop trying to kill the messenger and just listen to the damn message. The message is that man don't get a paycheck. He gets paid in stocks. You know what he does? He takes those stocks and he leverages them, or he borrows against them for the things that he wants to create. Tesla stock has a high value and he keeps it that way so that his behind can can go to a bank and friends and lenders and go, hey, if I give you this stock, you gonna give me a loan tax free. Yep. Then he goes and uses it to invest in a company that buys the asset that then gives him more debt,
which adds to his portfolio.
He don't live in a house with his name on it. He don't drive a car with his name on it. He don't have a car note. He doesn't have a registration in his name. But all of y'all do and pay more taxes than he does. You pay more fees and fealty than he does. But he makes more money than you ever will until you change what you do. Y'all see the shift? I think people keep forgetting that there's a shift that comes when you change your actions. The results have to change in your life. When you start getting new actions to change to, the results have to be different. How many of y'all have seen different results for yourself lately? You will soon, because the habits that you cultivate are the ones that make your life. That's what determines who you are. Not what you dream about. And look, you talking to somebody who's on the road. I am not at the mountaintop talking down because, baby, I'm still traveling. My mountains are getting bigger and bigger by the day, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to share with you right now that if the mountains are getting bigger, the road is getting tougher, it's all because you are doing something. Finally. You are finally in a space of shifting your life. But if everything seems like it's just going the opposite direction, the struggle is not getting harder, it's like it's harder to maintain this, you're going to have to seek out something to shift. You got to seek out the next level of difficulty. You got to stop trying not to learn. Trying to, this is normal. Stop trying. Normal's not going to get it. Average isn't going to get it. You have to step up. You're going to have to get that pain in the stomach. That fear has to come out and has to turn into a lion. And let y'all know right now, I don't care where everything burns down. The one thing that you will have more in common with is a phoenix. Trust and believe each one of you, every one of us was created with it. I don't care what you believed after you were born. After someone came into your life and instilled their beliefs in the things that they believe in, you are going to have to learn past all the stuff you already know in order to live the life you've never known. I wake up in the morning and the only thing I worry about is getting things ready for this. You know why? Because this is I'm doing what I care about. I'm not doing what everybody else says I need to do in a day. I create the life I live. Now, mind you, I'm not telling a damn person to quit your job. It's time to actually start to build safety, security, and peace into your life. That's why this is Mental Wellness Monday. I know it's crazy. Mental wellness means getting out of my comfort zone. Yes, Mr. Step out your comfort zone. That's right, Miss Hilda. You got to use fear, honey, because you are on the stage of life and it is killing you. And that is not how the game is played. You want peace? You want to calm yourself? I want you to break it down to a real cold, a kind of a point where you get and understand the source of your pain. Because once you manage that source, I managed the fact that everything was about money. This man you see in my life right now, we were going through it big time. Early on, separated. We celebrate 31 years this year. That's crazy. You old.
Hold on. You telling my age now. Hold on.
We celebrate 31 years this year. How many of y'all say 31 years steady? No, I don't mean lived in the same house. I'm talking about the 31 years where y'all can't stand each other, where you really want, I'm like wishing this man would just go somewhere where I'm going, how much insurance I got on this fool? Anyway, okay? I'm talking about them moments. I'm talking about, oh my God, if he don't get out my face. Oh my God, I'm about to leave. Oh my God, I left. Oh my God, he left. Why? Because you needed to take a break. And guess what the source of it all was? Had to discover it was the source was my insecurity. It had nothing to do with my husband. I don't know what his source was. Because I know I was hell on heels. I was not a happy camper, and I wasn't letting nobody be happy without me. That was me. I had to own that chick. But that chick didn't run who I was going to be. Y'all get that? You don't get to be who you want to be until you own it, step up, and do something about it, regardless of who's standing by you, next to you, with you, under you, whatever. You got to wear and walk your heels on your own.
Miss Minor, congratulations to you. I see that. We're coming. We're right behind you.
Y'all understand what I'm saying? She said third floor control conversations. I love it. That's how we came back together. We didn't have to come back together for us to be good, though. We just had to get control of ourselves individually so we could be together as something. We had to stop blaming the other one because of how life showed up. I told my husband, even tell him till today, I don't care what you do or don't do. I'm going to be good. You don't have to jump through no hoops so I can be happy. I would like certain things to take place, but until he wants to do it, that's not my business. He's not here. He's not my monkey. I didn't marry somebody to jump through hoops for. I want you guys to realize that it's not always a happy. I love my husband with all my heart. Sometimes I don't like him. That's how I am with everybody. That's how it is with y'all. That's not bad. That's human.
That's human.
Healthy.
There are times that there's conversations going on that they're not the most exciting conversations to have. But guess what? If you want a relationship that's going to go through the fire and through the rain and, be that postman absolutely has to be there overnight, guess what? You're going to have to go through those storms. And them storms are just, those storms are growing blocks. Those are building blocks. They're building blocks. And guess what? My wife is absolutely correct. I'm hell on earth sometimes. I ain't going to lie. I'm hell on earth to deal with. And sometimes it's like I just need a moment to be by myself. And I have a few of my own vices that I deal with. But guess what? That doesn't make her love me any less. And she has stuff that doesn't make me love her. We may have disagreements. We have confrontation. But guess what? At the end of it all, we're both on the journey to grow as individuals. We haven't forgotten our path. And that is why we are here having this discussion. Most of y'all are terrified right now. And it's tearing up your homes. It's tearing up the plan that was your life. And it's not about the other person. It's about you. It's about getting this information and taking steps to move forward so that the world around you becomes a part of that. If everybody takes up
Their responsibility in everything. And I don't mean something. I'm talking about everything. Stop. You want to eat, you got to build. You want to grow, you got to grow. You got to build, you got to educate. No one else is going to eat so you could survive. That's not how it's going to work. I love, like I said, I love my husband, but I know that no one person, and we were talking about this, the 100, 100, scales are balanced at 100%. They are never balanced. A scale is never balanced 50-50 because 50-50 is still equal to 100% on both sides. Otherwise, it's not balanced. So let's stop the bull crap and stop thinking it's somebody else that's going to fix, fill, or save us. You are it. You are all that's ever needed to be. But you're gonna need some new information. You got to get out of the circle and the spin of the distraction. I share with everybody. You guys are welcome. Click that button for P2G and come have a conversation. We meet free on Wednesdays. This is a community conversation because this, if we don't come up as a community, what's gonna happen? Huh? Oh yes, those who have trouble with the website, click the bot. It sends me messages directly. I check on her.
And we will get you in there.
I make sure you get the link. Why? Because the only thing I sell is freedom. Free your mind, your spirit, your soul. Some of y'all been in therapy so long, y'all haven't figured out it ain't working. Because you ain't worked it yet. That therapist can't give you a damn thing you don't do. And I keep reminding folks, not a bad thing, but it has to have purpose. It has to serve a purpose of steps you can take in your life. You want mentorship? If I want to be a millionaire, I am not going to a broke person who hasn't figured something out. And broke ain't the amount of money in a bank account. It's habits, what shows up. How someone lives is a definite. And when I say how, I'm not talking about where. Y'all do me a favor. Because wealthy people got one. I'm going to tell you this right now. You know what the trick is? You want to stay wealthy? Stop looking like you are. You want to be broke? You the one that look good, smell good, and got all the extra stuff going on. They know who broke people are when they come at them. Y'all get that? You were trained wrong. Trained backwards. It's not looking tight. Is looking broke. They look broke on paper. That's why they got the new style. That urban riche. All the ripped up jeans. Thank you. Silence until it's done. What do you have that you want to get done? Y'all know what I'm saying? What are you working toward in your life that you're telling everybody stuff all this? Miss Hilda, thank you so much. Silence until it's done. That doesn't mean that you don't interact. You need to build. You got to have community. You can't build nothing big that's all by yourself.
No, you cannot.
But you don't have to announce it. You ain't got to make it nobody's business, and you damn sure don't have to defend it. I don't defend anything I teach. You know why? I just got to teach it. When I teach it, I master it, and therefore it gives me the lifestyle I live. What are you teaching? Got it? So, Miss Hilda, thank you so much. I love you guys. And we got Miss Sonia.
Miss Sonia in the building. Grand Rising.
In the room, and we got Brother Black Castor. We had some amazing folks on. Esther Latimeri. Is what she said. And thank you on all of the platforms that you joined us. Some of you guys I can't see because I don't have a name. Text us. Let us know who you are. But even more so, join us. The community is huge and we're growing. We have an amazing show coming up. Y'all know Wednesday, Work It Out Wednesdays. We have guests now. We have a young lady coming in. We call her Bruja.
Yes.
Is an amazing shaman. I'm telling y'all right now, that woman's we're gonna do it up. So I'm excited because we're gonna do an actual breathing exercise that day. You're gonna get up and open it up. I'm trying to tell you, she's gonna open you up. So don't miss Wednesday at 8 o'clock. On your
You'll be enlightened.
And go to P2G Networks TV on YouTube. Click the button for being reminded, and it'll pop open when it's time. Let's do it. I kind of like that, the pop open part. As long as you put notify me, it'll come up, remind you, you click a button, it opens up.
Notify and subscribe to the channel. Please come subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of great information on there for you. And we don't hide nothing.
There we go. We're on everywhere. Y'all guys get up on there. Okay? So remember, we love you. And I mean that sincerely. I don't know if some people, my mama don't say she love you. Well, your Auntie Ruby says she love you. Let you know right now, your sister says she love you. And how do I love you? Because I have the love God gave me to love the world he created and everyone in it. Even the orange man.
Oh, no, you did not just do that.
Yes. You know why? Because hate will never do anything. It can't even come close to what love can. Let's get on it. Because love is not some feeling. It has always been an action. And it's always been encouraged by others. It actually helps. It actually is more infectious than hate. And it always has been. Remember, share this with others and let them know we got to spread the word that there's a way to get it together. There's a way to get our mindset right so we can get the other things in place. Hop on Wednesday or join us. Go to the website, see what's going on with the classes and stuff. When y'all get in, book a Wednesday. Wednesday night is going to be our thing. We meet on Wednesday at 7. So in the morning, 8 o'clock, breakfast with the Thomases, and then you can hop right in and come into a live not one-on-one.
Wednesday is a two-for
family community session.
Wednesday 2 day.
You know what I'm saying? We do a lot of activity on our platform, and we don't charge everybody for everything. You know why? Because we know we're not going to get to the mountaintop alone. We got to march there in our golden slippers together. Y'all know what I'm saying? I'll see you soon. We love you so much. Peace and love, and don't forget to share this love with others. Let's go. Mr. Thomas, you ready?
We're ready.
All right, cool. Here we go. And yes, thank you so much for sharing the new song with us. Got great energy. We want you guys to upbeat. Y'all know what I'm saying? That's right. Come on. Hi. That's right.
It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize.
Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up.
Monday, work it out Wednesday. Okay, pay it forward Friday. We're seizing the day. Digital